Hello, 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 my lovelies. It is Melly Monday here on Magic with Melly. So as you can see, okay, we've got the Nine of Swords, a very dark card. I do not enjoy seeing that for the collective. And the thumbnail, this is not what I like to see as well with the Three of Swords. It's really upsetting. It's some dark energy with this heartbreak. It's struggle. It's a hard time. It's having boundaries. It's being strong in that, but sometimes we can go really extreme. If we've had extreme experiences, we can go 0 to 100 real quick. I think that is reflected here with the Four of Pentacles and the Four of Cups. This is what we need to talk about. You're hanging on too tightly to something, to there's an issue within, and it's hard to tap into what it is, but it's this trigger response as well. I feel like some of us are holding back just because we're afraid of how we react or who we become when we are triggered or when we're under an influence. Some of us are wondering when our opportunities are going to be rolling in, coming in. We wonder these things. There's lots of just curiosity about how to move forward, what things we need to work on. Some of us are really just coming out of this like, I need to work on myself, I need to work on myself. But a lot of times, I think also these cards are coming out to remind you the importance of relaxing, that you are doing enough, that some of us, we worry about like on this progress of working on yourself and trying to be your best self and vibing as high as possible, having a positive attitude. We sometimes forget that it could become, I deem it toxic positive, where, if you really don't have it in you to be positive, let yourself grieve, let yourself be upset about situations that didn't work out, let yourself experience that here, let yourself experience the bad things, because you need to let it roll, you need to let it pass, let yourself experience it. Take it one step at a time, get things done, get one thing done at a time, do what you can, okay? If you can do it, shoot it forward. If you cannot, then you just cannot. Don't stress further or more about it than you need to. Here is definitely indicative of rest with the fours, but fours are also about stability. I feel like your stability is coming in, that you are strengthening. A lot of us we are strengthening where we're at. We're making choices. If we're really guarded, that's fine. But this is the warning earlier, was for those people who take it to extremes, that sometimes this is your message to maybe let your guard down, because with this card, I read this as like, this is your divine opportunity, and you're just sitting here rejecting it or not knowing that it is a divine opportunity, and you're not tapping into it. It could be multiple things, because with the Three of Cups, right, you see the Three of Cups depicted here, and then we have the Three of Swords. It's just this heartbreak because you're just focusing on the Three of Cups energy. You're focusing on that rather than this divine opportunity being handed out to you, being guarded. But it's surely because you do have pentacles to guard, to protect. You are validated in how you've been treating your life up until now. It's totally fine for you to have chosen what you've chosen up to now. Your past choices have made you today, the version of you that is today, and that is okay. But if some of you need to hear, that your guard's been way up, it is safe for you to experience more, and not be so heartbreak driven. Okay, because we don't want any of this, okay? Because this is more back of the deck energy. This is 8 of Swords, feeling really stuck. I feel like some of us are really stuck in our circumstances, and truly you're not as stuck as you believe. So with Ace of Swords being communicative, creating that line of communication where it's necessary, and just saying, like, the line of communication may be applying to jobs, and then following up as soon as possible, or when you think it's appropriate, according to, what the timeline looks like. It could be really unique. Sometimes you may need to hold off on the job search until you go on vacation, or until, because you don't want to then apply for a job and then be asking for a lot of time off that some people may, from an outside perspective, think you don't deserve it. And it's like, they're just getting to know you. Of course, they're going to feel like righteous somehow about the time that you're given for vacation at your job scenario. I don't know. That could be a very specific drama that occurs, but the whole thing here is just being forward with your line of communication to the things that make you want to be committed and serious about stuff, and like you're passionate. Here with the Hierophant card, it's just really important for you to take the lead on like your efforts, what comes out of you as far as communication goes, as far as if you need a job, start the application process. If you need to make amends with somebody, shoot out that message to go and hang out or have a word, or whatever it is. Okay, Page of Pentacles, definitely just grounding some of the voice that the voice within, but just like coming out with maybe an offering or a gift that would definitely solidify your situation. Whether you're in a career situation or moving into a new home, some of us have that situation happening with their changes, some forward changes that they've created. This is all about like settling in as well. Like, if you need to like stay stagnant or still, maybe this is about like adjusting to new changes as well, this reading. But specifically, moving forward, we just want to ground our new strength, new energies, new ways of communicating and talking with one another. And I feel like it's just really new energy here with the Page of Pentacles, and it's an active choice to make changes and to be a different person than you were. And that's wonderful. I see that I have 2 of Wands back of the deck energy and 2 of Cups behind it. So just connectivity with yourself and understanding like who you are, where you're at, what to do, and communicating that. I think that's all just represented here in this reading, and maybe just goes to show as like a reminder if you needed one. But I do have this tarot oracle, the Psychic Tarot Oracle. This is going to be my live shuffle tarot, and I'm going to have pre-shuffled oracle cards that I've shuffled before the show, and then I'm going to end on these cards, the Food Fortune cards. Okay, so let's get into your live shuffling and the rest of your reading. Now that I've read the Giant Tarot already, I'm just going to keep going. We have messages for Melly Monday. Let's see what came out. It says emotional withdrawal, number 8, but it's reversed. So just maybe a little bit of highlight in that regard. We have heartache and loss, number 3. Light, number 19. And rejoice in celebration, number 3. So these flipping out the way that they are, I just definitely feel like there's 2 scenarios here with emotional withdrawal. Some of us have a hard time tapping into our emotions, and some of us, it's too easy to tap into our emotions. Wherever you are on that spectrum, because we were speaking about extremes and boundaries and having trouble with that, and and etc., right? This could be where some of us experience trouble or struggle is with our emotions, whether it's tapping into them or having trouble tapping into them, or it's too easy tapping into them and you have a hard time withdrawing from that. Heartache and loss, it's really prevalent, right? With Three of Swords initially there, and all of the Nine of Swords, Eight of Swords there present. Heartache and loss is surrounding our energies. It's surrounding our aura. It's creating, for some of us, monsters in us. Some of the really awful experiences we have, they can really mold us into either a really, really sweetheart, like a real sweetheart, a good person, or you could be really bitter. It's really, absolutely, literally bittersweet. It's like a balance. It's a 50-50 coin with each, like, kind of traumatic experience. And if you went towards the dark for so long, this card here, 19, light, it's to remind you that you can turn to the light. If you don't have to always be in the darkness, if that's all you've known, you can experience differently. And those that have always been like a light being, and it's rather tough, to be a light being, go towards another light. You don't have to burn out, or when you do burn out, like, that's what you can do is go towards another light, another, go towards inspiration. That's what I always kind of resonate light to be, is someone being really inspirational, or at least their spirit carrying that sort of energy. And with rejoice, this card, rejoice and celebration, I think it's just, you got to be more rewarding towards yourself and more celebratory towards yourself whenever you do something that is worthwhile, or worth your while, or worth any means to you. I definitely used to have issue with that. Like, celebrating me and being like the center of attention, at least for a few, like, one day out of the year, at least for my birthday, as like, otherwise I don't mind if the attention is on other people or on other things. Like, I'm all right just chilling on my own, and being that. And I've grown my celebration towards myself, like, by wanting to, like, make myself more known, and, like, treat myself when I feel like it. And just, it's an interesting feeling with the universe being validated. When you love yourself, then the universe loves you too, like, and it, like, mirrors that. And I think that's a really gorgeous thing to experience. And if you haven't experienced it, I really want to help you with crystal healing, or with the cards on a personal level, one-on-one. And let me know at Magic with Melly on any social media platform. But just on more on, like, you, the back of the deck energy is financial and material changes. So again, with, like, the struggle, the struggle could be with financial stuff that could come to a turn. It's definitely validated there with the card, financial and material changes. There is going to be a turn, for better or for worse. That's really dependent on your unique situations out there. But continuing forward, we have the card Wolf Spirit, family. Okay, family is at the heart of a lot of of a lot of yous in the collectives worlds. Like, family is the core in your world. And 51, that number could be significant to you, because it's like the number 6, 8s and 10s, 9s and stuff as well. Okay, and 3s, 6, 9s, 10s, I love that. Okay, I definitely see that the numbers there. And 5. Lots of 5s. I see several 5s actually for you. And blue. I'm seeing lots of blue for you guys. With the wolf spirit family, green. I see green as well. Yeah, definitely family is at the core of things, and if you don't really have that at the core of things, you consider your friends to be like family, that counts too. Okay, it's like having a pack, having your like own kind of collective where you feel safe is what that represents to me. With bluebird spirit, happiness, tapping into this happiness definitely involves your family members, involves your loved ones, in like, and that's the obvious thing, but and seeking refuge is also important. Like happiness isn't solely purely one thing or other. It is within yourself to tap into and can evolve into whatever matches that in your outside surroundings at any given time. So, right now, my heart can be full of love in regards to roller skating. But then in a few days' time, like my heart can be full of love because I went to go see a movie with friends. But then it can also be full of love because I'm doing cards. And so it's just your identity with love is evolving every second, minute, hour, days, weeks, months, years. And seeking refuge just means that if you need to take a break from people, especially with this card family and happiness and things, you don't want to grow like too entirely attached to anything, quite actually. Like, because it is just so devastating to lose yourself in something or someone, regardless of what it is. That because there is the sort of expiration date with moments and situations and people, and that's just like the beautiful thing of like enjoying it while it's happening. And I'm feeling like sniffly suddenly, so I feel like it's just some really dark, heavy energy with loss. I feel like some of us have experienced some really heavy loss. We have heartache and loss. Okay, that's this card. And that is all right for you to, like, you don't have to cloud your sadness with happiness or like overpower that with happiness. Like, you don't have to force yourself to be happy when you're sad or sad when you're happy for others, like, or whatever the situation is. Like, turn to the light, turn to inspiration, turn to yourself, turn to love, like seek refuge, like find safety. That's definitely what that is all about with refuge, is finding safety. And this card is Spirit Guardian of Autumn, letting go. So if there's a situation where you feel unsafe, find the means to be able to let go, to be able to free yourself, to be able to expand yourself and be in a safe situation. And for those of you who are not in a safe situation, there are resources for you. There are resources for you. Just it's all about finding the means in yourself to type in the Google search like what you need and the information that you may need, and reach out. Don't be afraid of reaching out, that there will be someone helping you, wanting to help you. With this card, forest and breath, fire and passion. So it's just like taking a moment to breathe through stuff that you feel really deeply, really heavily, very passionately about. That it's very fiery. Fiery can be very destructive. It could be the fuel, like it, like igniting passion and igniting that flame within you that's just like hella fiery. But you need to breathe through that, because it could be really quick. It could be really hot, and radiance, you don't want to burn out. You want to keep shining just like the sun does. And so you do have to rest. You know, we have day and night. We do have that, need to have that time for stillness. We need to have our stability. Stone people is just like, I think that card's all about just being resilient and having like the power to withstand like when things go poops and when things are not the best, and still being a part of the scenery, a part of the beauty, and being like the rock, you know, like being ever the same through things. And it's like you can choose to do that. You can choose to stay on your moral high ground, or your moral situation. You can choose to stay like with yourself. If your career situation is asking you, like, say that you do not wish to be dishonest, um you are allowed to then say, well, like if your manager or a supervisor is asking you then to lie to customers or a client or whatever, and that is not okay with you. You know, I've been in this situation, and I've literally said back, I'm not going to do that just for the sales, you know, like ask someone else to do that. I'm not going to lie to a customer. Um that is that, you know. And you can stand your ground. I think that's what's really important about speaking on boundaries and wanting to keep your shine on. And that's really, that comes with stillness and understanding where you're coming from and standing strong in that, and knowing when someone is trying to talk over what you're saying or your boundary. It's just like there's something wrong with you speaking a boundary, and they're not hearing you, and they're not understanding something. Like there's something that needs to either be more explained, or the boundary is there and they're totally crossing it and do not deserve to be in your life. There is a fine line. Like it's really hard sometimes to decipher where people are on that, you know, like with crossing a boundary or not. And that's up to you. But stay strong on what your boundary is. If you have a certain way that you'd like to be treated, or a moral standard that you'd like to uphold, stay there. That's totally up to you. That's your choices. And if someone breaks those boundaries, or you let them in, that is also your choice as well. But you know, no judgments. Like your situations are your situations. And um I'm just reading energies here, and it's representing to me the importance of just breathing through your decisions and being solid on them, for sure. Solid on your decisions. Love is a sunbeam. Love radiates, and the more it does, the stronger it becomes. So earlier I was reading on just the mirroredness of, just if you love yourself, then the universe will love you. And so this, with the love is a sunbeam, it will multiply. It will, the love radiates. So the more it does, the stronger it becomes. So if it's like, if it already exists within you, then it extends to another person, and then that person shares that with you, and then you can like share that with one another, and then you can bring more people in. And it's just a great thing to really celebrate yourself and love yourself and share that with others, and who also have that energy with yourself. It's like literally, it's like crossing a threshold from being in the darkness to your own light, like tapping into your own light, tapping into your own love. And this next card says, imagine a hug. Close your eyes, imagine a color, and let it embrace you. I love that so much, because a lot of us do need hugs. A lot of us do need more physical touch and more comfort in our lives. And if you lack that, you can definitely give that to yourself. And you can do that to yourself right now. You can just like give yourself a hug. And this is all a part, also included in my yoga practice, where my yoga instructor will say, like, when we're like on the floor on our backs and we're like cupping in like this and then like opening up and like hugging ourselves. She calls it a hug, and it is quite like a hug because we're like squishing ourselves and all. And so you can do that. Like you can give yourself the massages and the warmth that you want and need from another person. I know it's not quite the same, but you can also get a plush, and then you can also speak up on your needs and be more open on your needs, be open to a dating app if you want to date, be open to even just going out and happening across somebody if you want that, or career based stuff. But if you're really stressed out and need to just relax and calm down, the whole hugging yourself is a lovely thing because you can be really self-soothing. The best way that you can soothe yourself is like knowing what makes you happy and paying attention to that, like what things would make you smile. And when you're not feeling very great, consider those things and then go and do it. Make yourself go and do it and change your mood. You are in control of that. You can do that. It is safe for you to feel a different emotion than what someone is making you feel. Like, for example, if in a relationship or your manager, whatever, like somebody in your life, whoever it is, whatever their title is to you, if they're very like, if they beat you down a lot, you don't have to agree with what they're telling you. If they keep saying like you're a piece of shit and you're a dickhole, it's like you can consider that. But if they're just taking it out on you, like maybe they are a dickhole and they're just taking it out on you. They're projecting their own issues, their own problem, their own image onto you. And so just like sometimes you need to detach, separate from that. And I did see the detach card earlier. It's not in here, but it did show earlier. And I think that's the thing, is detaching from energy and situations that are not you, and being able to like validate where you are, like, and what it is, and be solid on that as well, I think is a really important message. And this card says magic moments. It's a magical moment when you realize you can do things you never imagined. So I love this because I was recommending my collective to go into hobbies and actually like letting that fire go off and kind of like lighting the candle to that. And I think that's really lovely because I think that's validating for some of the collective that magical stuff is going to be happening. I feel like y'all feel it. But just going forward, I have these in the shadow oracles, and it's kind of, there is really dark energies, but it's all right. This card says you didn't imagine it. And I think that's so like lighthearted with the whole magic moment stuff, is that you're not imagining your magical stuff. The magical stuff that's in your life is definitely all you. I call this channel Magic with Melly because it's me sharing this stuff and this journey with you. The magic is in you. The inspiration is within you. And I want to help you unlock that. And it's like this card with the you didn't imagine it. That's absolutely it. I'm waiting for an apology. Okay, so some of you have this energy where there's an apology that's lingering over somebody. It's up to you to decide where it belongs, okay? Whether it's on you, whether it's on your person, in your career space, romantic space, but there is an apology needed somewhere, okay? But that's with the I know I made a mistake. I definitely feel as though the collective has a hard time with the mistakes that have been made in the past. And that's just pulling a resentment and pulling up a weird guilt / shame towards yourself for not knowing better. It's like, how could you have possibly known better? like, as long as you have learned from your situation and you're progressively doing the best that you can, and do like knowing what you know, and trying to expand on that, and doing, like, letting go of your mistakes, I think, is the surrender, the stillness, being like quiet, and like being with yourself, I think, is sometimes a real struggle for those that have a lot of mistakes, that have a lot of darkness, a lot of resentment, a lot of hate towards self because of how things have gone. Maybe you did actually do really poor acts that were not great, like great depictions of your character. Maybe there were actually awful depictions of your character. Maybe you were actually a shitty person. Okay, some of these people are in this collective. I know I made a mistake. I'm waiting for an apology. There's a duality there. It's whether it's you or it's your somebody that you know. There is a communication that needs to be happening, because I've been struggling. This card, you're so easy to see through. And I hope you're happy. I feel like it's obvious with the home happy thing that being happy for most of the collective is just going to happen anyway. And that's so easy to see through. It's true, with these people in my collective that shine so brightly, that are so radiant, that are so within loving energy, that are very intelligent, that have a lot going for them, that have made so many achievements. I feel like there's so many of those in the collective that do so much, and it's like they're experiencing burnout. It could be really, that's where the struggle is. It could be struggling with another person and wanting to everyone to be happy, everyone involved to be happy. Whatever your situation is, let it apply. But with this card, it says bliss is worth creating from, but it has like a scratch outs. So it's like this card, it was intentional with that. That is all right to make those types of mistakes. That is all right to change your mind on things and change your mind again and go back to the beginning. And that's exactly what this card kind of depicts, but it's also like it says about bliss, and that you create that. And it's like, you can be happy. You don't have to be stuck. You don't have to be in your situation, in your mind, the way that your perspective is. You can turn your perspective around. You can see it from their perspective. You can. Or if you cannot, if you absolutely cannot, and you want to stay on your, moral thing, then peace out. Make your amends and peace out. Don't verbally take anyone down. Don't physically take anyone down. Just say peace. Like, say how you feel without being targeting in a negative way, and be like, that's just, I don't feel very good, and this is no longer working for me, blah, 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 blah. That's it. And then you may get an offer for the change, or it's a goodbye, and you actually have to see the change. And it could be contractual paperwork with your work situation. It could be verbal in an intimate relationship situation, and it could be even written in, like, in a lawsuit, in an intimate romantic situation, like whatever it works. But like, you can create changes, create things one step at a time towards your happiness. And this path could be more difficult than others. There could be financial blocks in the way. There could be other blocks in the way, literal people, places, location, like blocks. There could be all sorts of blocks, even blocks in your chakras. If you need your chakras worked on, I can work with you on them. But sacred mirror, just realizing that whatever you put out, it will be brought back to you. So watch how you're carrying yourself around. Are you carrying a positive attitude or a negative attitude? And realize what's going to attract what. This says gratitude again, being thankful of exactly where you're at. Stop, drop, and ground. So feeling unsafe in your situations, that all has to do with grounding and how grounded you are. So holding still and grounding, and being in the moment, and being grateful. And that is all that is all like one, like encompassing of importance when it comes to wanting your manifestations to come in. Get back to elemental, that the basic things that you do need is just eating, breathing, and drinking. Anything in abundance to that is something to be absolutely grateful for. And we forget that. We forget how the essence of like how wonderful it is to live, like how some of us are living, that we do have it, you know, better or worse than others, and that we should just be grateful of the space exactly as it is, even if it could be better, even if it could be worse, it could be either, and you're exactly where you're at. And so it's just like it's its own divine thing. If you want better, go towards better in the future, but right here right now you have what you have, and that's a wonderful thing, isn't it? It is. Because what if you didn't have it? And that's a whole different universe that you're not in. And that's a thankfulness that maybe we don't consider. We have financial discipline. Okay. The importance of financial control, especially with the financial and material changes, and the struggle. Okay. Those that have the financial struggle, if you want something to turn around, it could be just you need to be more disciplined with it. And if you have more control in that way, then the changes you'll be seeing them, or that when you do see your financial changes, if you get like a big load of money drop into your hands or into your lap, that if you're like managing them with control, you know, like dispersing or categorizing um what's going towards what, then you can really like, you know, budget would be a great thing to get into or consider. Environment, 44. So again, with eights, these are fours, eights I'm seeing, and the card effort, environment and effort. So making more of a conscious effort to surrender to the environment, surrender like your efforts towards what matters to you. That could be the environment. A lot of us are earth lovers, are crystal lovers. A lot of us really enjoy being out in nature, and that's where you have this element of surrendering, of being able to let go of your cares and your worries. And that's maybe the best energy or the best effort, is when you are out in nature, is when you feel like you have your best efforts. We have patience, that it's all right to be patient with yourself, especially with the changes and your adjustments with spirituality or literal physical changes, making moves, making decisions that are different than what you have had made in the past based off of leaning towards spirituality. I feel like opening up to spirituality opens up a whole gateway of different possibilities. And so it's just with all these new applications, it's all about being patient with your manifesting, being patient about your outcome and things, and how your perspective on things and how it's changing, and um, trusting that you are like everything is as it should be, that you are where you're meant to be, because there's no other way that you could be anywhere else or be anybody else. So just finding patience and thankfulness and love within. I'm going to end the reading with the food fortunes, because that was all of the pre-shuffled oracles. So let's see an update for the collective. Let's see messages for the collective to end the reading here. Messages for the collective. Oof. Messages for the collective here. Messages and the reading for the collective. Oop. Okay, I'm gonna not take those, but I got one more. I'll show you here in a minute once I see the back of the deck. Okay, the back of the deck is the Holy One. I think that's really divine to have it come out like that. It's a donut. It's very sweet energy. I feel like that's the collective. Is you guys are really sweet. You guys are very holy, religious, or spiritual, whatever it is, but definitely really sweet and angelic. And here with the toaster, I feel like things are getting really toasty and heated in our situations. I feel that with the Ace of Mains and the Page of Sides, okay, that you're worried. Some of us are worried that you're just going to be tossed to the side, that your situation is not grounded enough. It's not brothy or like thick enough. Like it's not like, it's just like this with the can of soup, okay? The condensed flavored soup, it says, and Page of Sides with the green beans. I feel like you're just really worried that this is who you are, what you are, that you're just not as big of a Miss Thing or Mr. Thing, you know. You don't feel like as much of a big shot than you are. You don't feel like you're the big, you don't feel like the entree, the dinner. You feel like just the snack. And it's like, no, you're the whole meal, you know. King of Sides, Ace of Sides, you got it all. You do got it all. You need that reminder, okay? With this extra cheesy stuff, people love it. People love you. Okay, this is Ace of Sides, the ultimate food snack is definitely chips and salsa, in my opinion. And look at that Ace of Sides. This is you. This is you. You need the reminder that you're fucking awesome. And it's just the beginning of knowing this, of embodying your self-love, embodying your self-expression, embodying what makes you you. Do that. It's a fresh ass beginning. Let yourself be in this godly energy. It's so godly, it's sweet. And I love that for you. That's all I got for this reading. Absolutely, thank you for being here. And I can read your cards on a personal level, or I can read, you know, for the collective. As always, goodbye, goodbye. I'm so thankful. Goodbye.